All right. Honestly, I think some of the hardest stuff is the stuff from chapter 9.3. So this portion is going to be called Solving Nasty Problems because that's what it was. And we are going to do 2 types of problems now, and then the next 2 are going to be in the next movie, and then we're going to do some word problems. So here we go. This is complex fractions, or compound fractions. So here we've got stuff. What do we need in this denominator, in the first denominator, in order for it to match the second denominator? Well, we need another x plus 2. So I'm going to multiply the top times x plus 2 and the bottom times x plus 2. The bottom of this one is already filled up. The 3 needs an x plus 2 on top, and x plus 2 squared on top, and an x plus 2 squared on bottom. So now that we've multiplied everything and gotten common denominators, I told you, tell yourself, write it down what x cannot be equal to, which in this case is -2, because -2 makes the denominator 0. And then go ahead and ignore the denominators. So we have 3 times x plus 2 squared equals 1 times x plus 2 plus 2. And those were the numerators. All right. Now, I need to expand x plus 2 squared to give me 3 times x squared plus 4x plus 4 equals x plus 2 plus 2. Well, that gives me 3x squared plus 12x plus 12 equals x plus 4. Okay, now I can just simplify, put it all in one side, and we'll deal with it. So subtract x, subtract 4. That gives us 3x squared plus 11x plus 8 equals 0. Wow. This looks pretty factorable, so let's see if we can go ahead and factor it. 3 times 8 is 24. Okay, I'm going to factor it and solve by factoring. So 24 has factors of 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8. Oh, look, 2 numbers that multiply to 11. Plus, plus, so I got 3x squared plus 3x plus 8x plus 8 equals 0. All right, first 2 terms I can take out a 3x, and that gives me x plus 1 plus 8 times x plus 1 equals 0. So my 2 factors are 3x plus 8 times x plus 1. Set them both equal to 0 and solve, giving us x equals -8/3 and -1. All right, so there we go. How did I get -8/3, you ask? 3x plus 8 equals 0. Solve for x. Subtract 8, we've got 3x equals -8. Divide by 3, we get x equals -8/3. All right. The next problem that we're going to work is this lovely guy. Well, here's the trick to the nasty ones, like this. Use some other type of substitution. So I'm going to say that u equals k to the 2/3, because this right here, I want it to be k to the 1, or something to the first power, and I want this to be something squared, because I don't know how to solve any other kinds of equations, so this would be helpful. So here we have 4. Since it's k to the 4/3, if I raise k to the 2/3 squared, that would give me k to the 4/3. So I'm going to go ahead and use u squared instead of k to the 4/3. Minus 13u plus 9 equals 0. Oh, that's so much nicer. I noticed that 4 and 9 are lovely and they add to 13, so this is factorable. So 36 factors into 1 and 36, 2 and 18, 3 and 12, 4 and 9. Oh, look, 2 numbers that add to 13. They both are negative. So that gives us 4u squared minus 4u minus 9u plus 9 equals 0. Out of the first two, I can take out 4u. I'm left with u minus 1. Out of the second two, I need to take out a negative 9 so that this is positive, and that becomes u, this changes sign to negative 1 equals 0. So my two factors are 4u minus 9 and u minus 1 equals 0. So set them both equal to 0. We have 4u minus 9 equals 0 and u minus 1 equals 0. So 4u minus 9 is the harder of the two. So let's see, I've got 4u equals 9, so u equals 9 over 4. But remember, our original problems had k's in them. So I'm going to replace u with k to the 2/3. So k to the 2/3 equals 9 over 4. How do I get rid of 2/3? How do I make it into a 1? Well, I multiply by the reciprocal, so I raise everything to the 3/2 power on both sides. Okay, well, the square root of 9 is 3. The square root of 4 is 2. And I'm going to cube it. That got rid of the denominator of the fraction. 3 cubed is 27. 2 cubed is 8. So there is one of my solutions. The other one comes from the u minus 1 thing. And so we've got u minus 1. So u equals positive 1. So k to the 2/3 equals 1. So raise everything to the 3/2. And the square root of 1 is 1. 1 cubed is 1, so this is 1. So k equals 1 and 27 over 8. Those are the two answers for my solutions.